Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Gia and welcome back to a brand new video. Today I'm going to be just talking about my overall thoughts on Elden Ring Nightreigne, and what you're going to be seeing in the background is my final run, not really the beta per se, but more like the network test. It's going to be my final run of the network test, and just overall what I thought after playing. I will say I only had about 3.5 hours worth of playtime. So these are a bit hit and miss thoughts, I am aware. Also, I am aware that there were other network tests I could have taken a part of. However, I said this on stream when I was playing that I did not know I even got in. I was checking my email, checking it, and I didn't see anything. And then out of nowhere, I came back on the weekend from being out of town, and I just saw the email. And I was like, holy fucking shit, I gotta play. So I missed a lot of footage that I could have played. I'm really confident I could have killed Gladius, the three-headed Hydra, like dragon wolf thing. And so I could have killed him for sure, I think, in this network test. But this actually just leaves me more to be excited with in the base game when it releases. So I'm just going to go ahead and be talking about some of the pros, some of the cons, and some of the things that I need to be improved. Now, I will say this was only on a PlayStation 5. That's all I played it on. I didn't play on anything special like that. I didn't play on anything else. It wasn't available on PC, or I would have 100% played it on PC. First off, I just want to say something that was good, genuinely, was the fun factor. This game is so much fun. I've never played a roguelike. Elden Ring was my first real test at a Souls game. I killed 3 bosses in Dark Souls 3 before quitting. Because I died. I killed 5 bosses in Bloodborne before quitting because I died. That was all my experience. Oh, and I also played Code Vein. But a lot of people don't regard that as a real Souls-like because it really encourages you to have a partner and the way to play the game in a certain way. I don't really mention that too often, but that's all my experience with this. So Elden Ring and Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree were my first real experiences with a Souls-like, and I'm telling you right now, I am hooked. I am loving this combat. I love that some of the changes they made, especially with the sprint, which I'll go over in a little bit, but overall, just the game is super, super fun. I have never played a roguelike, like, in my life, but if this is what a roguelike is kind of similar to, I definitely might start checking out some roguelikes in the future, just to maybe play like a couple hours of here and there. But this game was super, super fun. I also really, really enjoy the aspect of there are bosses just all over the place. Every little room or location you go to seems to have a boss that will grant you some type of reward, and it's great. That mixed with the abilities, like it's being on the screen now, I think his name is Wilder. He has the grapple hook, which you can actually use to transverse the map, not just grab to enemies. And then he has the explosive crossbow, which does massive amounts of stagger damage, as well as just overall damage. It truly is just so much fun, and I really am glad they released this. The only other class I played at the time was Mage, and that's because I'm somebody who likes to leave stuff for when the game releases. Like, I don't like to do everything that the game has to offer sometimes when we're in a beta. Like, yeah, sometimes I'll be so captivated by the game, I'll be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna play this, or like to its fullest. Other times I'm like, man, this game is so fun, but I don't want to play everything for it. So I will literally avoid things just so I have something to play when the full game comes out that's brand new. Obviously, there are gonna be other aspects to the game that are new as well. The only boss I got to fight was Gladius. However, I know there's like a demon centipede, and I think there's some other bosses in the game as well, but I'll be definitely checking those out. And the game just is phenomenal. I will also say the replayability of this game is like 10 out of 10. I feel like I can play this game for hours. And with Souls-like games, it's different. When I'm playing games like Marvel Rivals, I feel like I can play those games for hours because the compositions are totally different almost every game. Like, there's always some aspect that's changed, and every character is viable. And this gives me a little bit different feeling of replayability. Replayability in this game makes me feel as if, oh, I'm gonna be playing this, I could play Wilder all the time, and I could just keep playing him over and over again because that's just, I've always played Sword and Shield, or even two-handed. However, it's gonna be a different experience because I'm going to get different drops, I'm going to fight different things. It's going to be great. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So I really am looking forward to the amount of replayability that is in this game. The last thing I kind of want to touch on for, I guess, the really good stuff, because I think this game has a lot to improve upon, but the really good stuff, I would say, is the teamwork aspect and the balancing. I think the enemy health and the teamwork it takes to take down some of these enemies is top-notch. Gladius is a perfect example of this. He's the final boss on the final day of the network test, and he's just this giant 3-headed Cerberus wolf, and he swings around a giant chain sword, or a sword on a chain, I should say, and it's absolutely phenomenal. Like, he's so well designed, in my opinion. Even some of the other bosses, like, you're watching me, and there are other bosses that you can fight that are just, they're great. Even the dragons, like, yes, they have the shitty camera problems that they've always had, but the dragons still feel good. And Morgott coming in to fight you in the middle of the night on, like, the second day or the first day or something like that, he genuinely also feels very balanced. He feels very aggressive, and on top of his HP scales, but he still keeps his moveset with maybe 1 or 2 extra moves tied in there. Genuinely feels like a really good boss. So does Gladius. All the bosses I fought have been absolutely phenomenal. I've been really, really enjoying that aspect. I will say some things I didn't like were the frame issues. It felt like I had really bad input delay because of the frames, and I think that's just because the game isn't finished. I think it's because it's a network test and the full game isn't out. They don't want to give us full access to the game on a network test. They want to isolate a part of the game and then leave it kind of unfinished in a way, I believe, so we can test certain aspects while also getting to experience the core gameplay loop of the game. And I think that they did a really good job of that. However, the frames issue was a big problem for me. I would regularly play the game, and I would have 3 enemies on my screen sometimes doing attacks, and my game would lag. Or even exploring, you can just tell, like, at least on my end, that the 60 FPS lock is actually, I feel like, might be hurting this game. Either that or the PlayStation just cannot handle it. The PlayStation 5 just really, really struggles to run this game smoothly, and there aren't any serious graphical settings you can change. At least there wasn't on the network test, so I'm hoping that that changes on release. Another thing I have kind of to critique about it is how weak the mage feels in the comparison to everything else. I don't like mages. I don't like playing the mages. I think I used to say this in my mage video. I think all mages are pussies. However, I'm trying to get out of that mindset, and I want to play Elden Ring as a mage. As a core, true mage, I want to play that, like, low armor, you know, look the part and everything. Like, I don't want to be a mage with heavy armor. It's going to be pointless. So I want to play a proper mage and give it a shot, but the mage in this game just feels so unbelievably weak. Yet Guardian, Duchess, and Wilder all feel great. I personally didn't play Duchess, and I didn't see too much gameplay of it, but I've watched the trailers a couple times, and I think she looks great. On the other hand, I played with Guardian in my mage video as well. I played with a Guardian. His ability to jump up in the air, drop down, and res on the spot because of the amount of impact it does, and then hold that position to riposte any attacks, makes him literally a Guardian. It makes him so good. I think he might be borderline essential for teams because of that. His ult gives him like an insta res essentially. And then Wilder's just overall a great character. I think he's going to be the go-to beginner character for anyone looking to get in this game or anyone learning to learn the game. He's a basic sword and shield / two-handed character, and he has the grappling hook to transverse or bring enemies to him, and then he has the explosive crossbow that does a good amount of damage and a lot of stagger damage. So he's just overall going to be a really good character to just play the game with. You then go to Mage, and Mage just feels terrible. Mage just feels awful. There are 2 ways you can get magic back in terms of just when the network test was released. There's 3 ways, I should say. 1, you can go to certain locations and they will restore your magic. I guess there's 4 if you're counting this. 2, you can level up. You can use FP shards that you buy from the merchants, and you can use them to fully restore your magic. You can use your minor ability, I think it's called, and when you pull a status effect from an enemy, whether it be you just casted a spell so it comes back blue, you hit them with lightning so it's yellow, you hit them with fire so it's red, anything like that, you then get a small amount of magic when you charge that. Now, my problem with this, it's just not enough magic, because if you're playing a mage, you're constantly casting. So you're going to want a staff with a low attack magic cost, and then you're going to want a staff with a big attack magic cost, and you're going to want to hit this enemy with a low magic cost and keep pulling magic over and over again to get your magic up so you can use these big attacks. While I know to some people that might seem like, oh, that's really good balancing for the mage, because the mage will just go crazy if it stands in the backline with flasks. If we have 4 health flasks, give the mage like 1 or 2, I would probably lean closer to 2 magic flasks. That way, they're forced to also step back if they want to use a big ability, but they're not being punished for playing a certain way. If they want to sit there and spam heavy attacks while their flasks are available, then let them sit there and spam heavy attacks and then make them play into the gameplay loop of getting magic back through their ability. I really feel like the mage suffered so much in this network test and is going to suffer more in this game unless you get good rewards from the table where you put like the crystals and such. I forget the name of it, unfortunately. I'll be touching on that in a little bit as well. I don't know. I really want to see the mage get a big buff. I really want to see the mage get adjusted heavily in some way so it's very competitive. I'd like to see it become competitive with Duchess because I believe Guardian is a must play and Wilder is just ridiculously easy to use. So you have two very, very good characters. One is going to just give you tons of availability to help your team, and the other one is just super easy and basic to use, so it's just overall good at just fighting with a sword. And then you have Duchess, who is good at like assassinating smaller enemies. So it's good for running around, killing these mini bosses and such, but once you get to like Gladius level bosses, she's not the best. But I'd love to see Mage compete with Duchess for that role of the third character that people can play. Like, she's still gonna be good, but she's not a must play. And the last thing I kind of want to touch on is like some of the improvements that can be made. And one of them is going to be chests and the rewards you get for completing runs. A prime example of this is we'll just call them gems because I'm not sure if I think they're crystals actually or something like that. So I'll call them crystals, and I think that's their proper name. So I got a red crystal. It goes with Duchess. But the problem with that is Duchess is a 3 green crystal character, meaning I can't use that on Duchess. Now, maybe this crystal works if I have a Duchess in my party, so I could run like a support Wilder, and what I can do is I can put this red crystal on Wilder, so if I have a Duchess in my game, this status effect will proc, or she'll get access to this little ability that Wilder has, which I don't think is the case in the slightest. However, it does worry me that I can get things for other characters when they can't even use them on that character. Like, I know I can sell them, and I know I can get other, I think they're called Misty Runes. I know I can, or something like that. They're another version of runes. I know I can sell them and get more runes that way. I have yet to find out or know just what they're used for. However, it really worries me because you could be playing all day looking for a certain crystal, but you can play for, we'll say, even days. You could play for days and not get what you're looking for because you're getting things that roll on other characters that you can't use. Like, I have no problem in playing Wilder and getting a reward for Duchess or getting a reward for Mage or Guardian. Give me the ability to use it on the character. Don't give me a red Duchess. Don't give me blue Wilder. Don't give me a blue Guardian or a green Wilder. Don't do that because that's just not fun and that's not good in my opinion. I just don't think that that's the best solution to making it random RNG and random loot drops, I should say. Another thing I have not a problem with, but more so I'm just confused by, is the passive on Wilder. This is a bit of a character specific thing because I don't know the passives on the other characters, but Wilder his passive doesn't seem to do anything. And like, what I mean by that is his passive reads, you can cheat death 1 time. In my 3 hours of playing, and the amount of times that I got downed, and the amount of times that we were going to die, and everything I played through this 3-hour session, which was a good amount, I never once found myself actually proccing his passive. Now, I hope I'm wrong in saying that, but I hope that I'm right, because I love the passive to fall under certain circumstances, because if you can cheat death once per trial, and you go and throw your body at just a major boss and get some iframes to get off an attack and kill him, it just might defeat the whole purpose of playing it safe. But at the same time, this has to be an ability that can be safely procced. These are just some small things, but overall, I think the network test was absolutely phenomenal. I really believe that this network test is so healthy for the game because it allowed us to get a first look at Elden Ring Nightraign, a concept for a game that people thought would be really weird and really finicky to play around with, but it wasn't. It was absolutely great, and just overall, I think it just made more people happy than it did sad. I know it made me happy. I loved this game, and I'm really excited for it to release. I believe it comes out in May 30th, if I have the date right in my head. So this game is coming out very soon. In roughly 2 to 3 months, this game will be in our hands, ready to play, and you can best believe I'll be making some content on it. Because we have this game coming out, we have Doom the Dark Ages, and they're only 16 days apart. Doom the Dark Ages comes out March 14th. So I'll be playing that as much as I can, creating videos, maybe some videos, but definitely going to be streaming it over on my Twitch channel. The link to that will be in the description. That's where all the footage from today's video came from. But I hope you guys did enjoy, and if you have anything else you'd like to say, please definitely let me know down in the comments. I'm all about discussing the game and such, and making sure that we all see the same problems, because then the more problems we see, the more we can bring them to light for Bandai Namco to adjust. Also, fuck the dogs. Have a wonderful rest of your night, guys, day, evening, whatever it may be, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.